Greetings metalheads, George here from No Nonsense Metal Reviews, back yet again with another new release review. They really are coming thick and fast so far in 2026, and this particular beast is what we're going to be talking about today. This is the second full-length offering, Midnight Blitz, from the awesome Tailgunner, rising stars of the new wave of traditional heavy metal spawned here in the UK. What a band. I have been talking about Tailgunner for quite a while now, certainly after their brilliant debut album Guns for Hire, released in 2023. This album generated a lot of attention. The spotlight was very much on Tailgunner, and it has been, I think it's fair to say, subsequently, because they are a very active band on the road. They seem to forever be on tour, always appearing at festivals. Sadly, I have not had a chance to actually catch them live, although that is strictly not true, because they were at the Stone Dead Festival 2024, I believe it was. Unfortunately, I arrived just as they were closing out their set, playing a cover, I believe, of Dio's Don't Talk to Strangers. So sadly, I just missed them. Regardless, they are a band that seem to be forever on the road, and they're building, and they have built so far, quite a reputation as being a formidable live act. But they are very much a good old-fashioned heavy metal band. There's plenty of twin guitars, harmonies, amazing harmonies and melodies. There is plenty of grit here. They have got speed, but they can be very melodic when they want to be. They've got a great old school vibe to them, but they really are breathing fresh life into traditional heavy metal. There are a lot of bands that are very much riding the wave of the new wave of traditional heavy metal. A lot of bands doing a lot of great stuff. Not going to name any other names at this time, but I do feel that Tailgunner are really at the crest of that wave. I do think that they are one of the best of this movement. So Midnight Blitz sees a bit of a different lineup for Tailgunner since their previous album. Lineup now consists of still Craig on lead vocals. We've got Zach Salvini on lead guitars. We've got Rhea Thompson on guitars as well, also lead. We've got Bones on bass, and we've got Eddie Mariotti on drums. You might also notice the producer there, none other than KK Downing. Absolute legend. KK Downing, of course, of KK's Priest, formerly of Judas Priest as well. Also, just a bit of a legend in metal. A producer, a venue owner, all-round legend. So, the album itself, Midnight Blitz, how does it compare to Guns for Hire? Guns for Hire was and is a very good album. Certainly a very strong debut. That's certainly a tough act to follow, but I was personally anticipating that the follow-up was going to be something special. And I think that it was a good amount of time between albums. 3 years. We're now in 2026. The last album was 2023. So that's a pretty sizable chunk of time for the follow-up album. Chances are there's going to have been a lot of effort. There's going to be a lot of hours and a lot of energy that's been poured into this album. And the result is a pretty freaking sublime heavy metal machine. It kicks off with the title track, which is, I think, a perfect summary of, and statement, if you like, of what Tailgunner clearly are and what they're doing. It's a good old-fashioned heavy metal song, but it sounds like it is absolutely brimming with energy, overflowing with talent. We've got amazing guitar work here. These two guitarists are clearly very talented. We've got great solos, great leads, the rhythm, the twin guitars. It's all fantastic. We've got great tones throughout, really well produced. Everything is audible, you know, good bass sound there. The percussion is clear, it's not overshadowing everything, but it is thunderous enough. Good big sound for the drums. I think that's crucial for heavy metal. We don't want anything to be thin. And the vocals are absolutely fantastic. I think Craig is a really, really talented vocalist, and certainly the lyrical content of the title track and a theme that was very present on the first album as well, is themes of war, but not so much just about big explosions and annihilation. We've got a track that's clearly about the bombing, the midnight raids, the Blitz there. Planes, if you want to win, certainly people like me as a fan, give us some songs about warplanes and warships and the silent service. That's certainly going to win a few credits in my books. Absolutely fantastic and a great song. It's got great kind of galloping melodies to it. It's got a great pace. It's a fully charging, energized heavy metal number. It's a fantastic way to open up the album. We then get Tears in Rain, which is a much more melodic kind of affair. You know, it's a bit of a kind of stripped back feel to it. It's a bit more of a melancholic. When I say melancholic, it's a bit more of a softer approach. Less about midnight raids and the Blitz. It's kind of more of an emotive number, but actually it's fantastic. Again, incredible melodies, absolutely fantastic rhythms in there. It's a brilliant one, very catchy. We've got a big sing-along chorus there, and it's emotive stuff. I will admit it does really have an old school kind of 80s vibe to it, but it's fabulous. Follow Me in Death is another great, strong, heavy metal number. You know, it's a really rousing track. Love it. Dead Until Dark is fabulous. That's a brilliant track. Again, it's very heavy freaking metal. I'm certainly not going to compare this band to other bands of their kind of same movement. I think that's a little bit unfair. But what I would say is it does have that really old school kind of Maiden vibe of maybe the first 3-4 albums. That comes through strong here. Same with good old kind of early 80s Priest. That's the kind of vibe that comes through to me, for me anyway. And Dead Until Dark, I think that's a fabulous track. Barren Lands and Seas of Red, another brilliant track, absolutely fantastic. And I really do think it's impressive, actually, just how signature Tailgunner's sound is for a band that's only got 2 full lengths and, you know, an EP before it and a few other singles. I think it really is impressive how they have managed to hone their sound. Even more impressive when you consider that there's been quite a sizable lineup change in between the debut and the sophomore album. But that track in particular really does remind me of some of the stuff that we were getting on the first album, certainly. But Barren Lands and Seas of Red is a bit of a standout. Again, amazing guitar work, truly excellent vocals there, galloping heavy metal, some great riffs, really catchy, full of hooks. We then get the ballad. We've got a ballady track here. It's really powerful though. It features, if I'm not much mistaken, keyboards from Adam Wakeman, son of Rick Wakeman, and it sounds fabulous. I keep using that word, but it's a fabulous album. It's a fantastic album. Mix it up a bit. Fantastic track as well. Very 80s. You know, if you've been binging on Stranger Things and you're feeling like that's where it's at, this is a very 80s sounding track that you're probably going to enjoy. War in Heaven sees some really impressive vocal work from Craig. Absolutely brilliant stuff. He's got a great voice. You know, it's not ultra high. It's not a King Diamond, but no is it a, you know, low end kind of Lemmy gravelly vocal. We've got a good kind of in the middle there. Very good vocals, and I think it'll be interesting to see how Craig matures as a vocalist and develops further. Because his vocals were strong on the debut, they're clearly a lot stronger here. Blood Sacrifice follows on next, and that is a punchy track, a real heavy metal galloper. Again, it's all about those fantastic riffs, and they really are catchy stuff. You know, you can hum along to these riffs, and that's a sign of a good heavy metal track for me. Night Raids is brilliant. Another good one. Another strong kind of heavy metal number. Yeah, it does have that kind of Maiden vibe to it. I was just looking at that track list and remembering Eye of the Storm. Now, this is an interesting one because in the dark recesses of my brain, I seem to remember when talking about this album, Guns for Hire, that there were at times parts that reminded me of Bullet for My Valentine, certainly of Matt Tuck's vocals. So I think it's fair to say Matt, he's a good vocalist. He's got a good voice. He can certainly do both ends, you know, harsh and clean, and he can do it well. Say what you like about Bullet. I certainly like Bullet. But Eye of the Storm, which is a track from a Bullet for My Valentine album, Scream Aim Fire, Craig's vocals sound very, very similar. He's definitely got a kind of Matt Tuck style going there, and that's no bad thing. No bad thing at all, no discredit. It might not even be a conscious thing, but that's certainly what it sounds like to me. But the track almost does kind of carry a little bit of a Bullet vibe to it. Modern heavy metal, and again, no bad thing at all. But it's a really good track. A little bit more mid-pace, a little bit more melodic, but it's certainly very catchy, full of hooks there. And the closing track, Eulogy, is epic. It's a bit of a longer closing track. For me, that's a really almost bombastic track. It almost has a bit of a power metal vibe. I don't know why. It just makes me think Dragon Force, the way that it's absolutely full throttle. It's full of energy. It is very powerful, and it is driving stuff. Absolutely fantastic. Again, the band is firing on all cylinders here. Although we've got great melodies and harmonies, we've got so much energy there. Great guitar work, amazing riffs, the rhythms, the leads, vocals are great. The percussion is absolutely mechanical, absolutely fantastic stuff. It's a really great closing track. The whole album is about 45 minutes, I believe, 44, 45 minutes. So it's not overly long, and it really does leave you kind of wanting more. In fact, a few times I've listened to this, I've just gone straight back and listened to it from the start. I mean, it's been out for a couple of weeks now. I've listened to it getting on for about 20 times, maybe a bit more. I don't like to just rush into a new release review. I like to actually have enough time to sufficiently listen to it, process it, digest it, have a little bit of a reflection on the previous work as well. Again, a few times when I'd finished Midnight Blitz, I was actually just going back and listening to Guns for Hire, because this is a fantastic album. If you're not familiar with this one either, you need to get acquainted with that. It's a damn fine album from a damn fine band. So, an album that certainly leaves you hungry for repeating it and hungry for more. That is a very good sign. Honestly, I'm saying, after a couple of weeks of digesting this one, this is a 9 out of 10, possibly even a 9.5. It's certainly going to be very high in my top albums of 2026. I think that's fair to say already. It's a fantastic album, a fabulous album, in fact. And I think it's really interesting to see that clear development between these two albums. I think that is very interesting. There's clearly been big progression, big development. I look forward to seeing where Tailgunner take it from here. In fact, I will finally be catching Tailgunner in support of Accept in August of 26 at KK Steel Mill. None other than KK Downing's name coming up again. So, yes, looking forward to that. And hopefully Tailgunner will also go out in support of Midnight Blitz on their own, because I think this is an album that deserves a headline performance, headline spots. I think the other thing I totally overlooked is that cover. That is just oozing with 80s. Same with the look of the band here, the band shots. That's just pure old school metal vibes there. Awesome. It's good art. I like it. It's very old school. Also worth mentioning, that label. They're now signed to Napalm Records, a big leap from former label, which was Fireflash Records. Not quite sure. I think that might be one of the kind of offshoots of Nuclear Blast. I'm not entirely sure. Nonetheless, that aside, really strong album. Tracks to check out. You got to check out that title track. It's absolutely fantastic. If you're liking more epic, almost verging on power metal at times tracks, the following track, Tears in Rain, Barren Lands and Seas of Red, is just killer. I absolutely freaking love that one. And I think just for the sheer stunning nature of it, I would say War in Heaven. That's a big sounding song. That is a big, grand sounding song. So definitely check that out. Tailgunner are also a band you need to hear. And I did recommend them as a band you need to hear just on the strength of the debut there. So do check them out if you haven't already. If you haven't maybe even come across, I don't know, but if you haven't checked out the first album, Guns for Hire, which I also have here on a nice vinyl format, it is so worth checking out. It's packed full of killer tracks, excellent heavy metal, but with a modern edge and a, dare I say it, a bit of a kind of power metal infusion. Nice. Why not show this off? This is a cool article. Nice picture disc of the debut album there. Very cool. Very energetic, very punchy, memorable, catchy heavy metal. So definitely check out Midnight Blitz if you haven't already. Check out Tailgunner and Guns for Hire. What are your thoughts and opinions on this one then, my friends? Interested to hear what we've got to say about Tailgunner and their brand new album. Thank you very much for watching this humble review. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment. Support is greatly appreciated. Check back soon for more reviews and recommendations of all the good heavy things. Until next time, listen to Tailgunner, spin Midnight Bullets, and stay freaking heavy.